Hi, I'm Luke. Welcome to this special 20th anniversary edition of Teen Kids News. In fact, that's our top story. A news program specifically for teens, delivered by teens. That was the groundbreaking concept behind Teen Kids News. Ava looks back at some of the highlights.
And Luke, there's been a lot of highlights over the past 20 years. But let's start with a piece of trivia. When the program first launched in 2003, it wasn't called Teen Kids News, just Kids News.
Yo, what's up? I'm Nick. And I'm Aaron Carter. And you're watching Kids News.
Kids News just didn't do justice to the older kids who were watching. So a year later, Teen was added to the title, rebranding the program we know and love as
Teen Kids News.
Teen Kids News.
Teen Kids News. Teen Kids News.
But let's go back in time to that very first program.
Hi, I'm Mwanza.
And I'm Haley.
When I got tapped to be on Teen Kids News, I think I was doing commercials and did some theater productions. Most notably, I played young Simba in The Lion King. But that was very different than delivering the news in the way we were doing on Teen Kids News.
Each program began with a quick overview of the week's top news stories.
With the world headlines, here's Lauren.
After years of frustrating negotiations,
There's always been news shows for adults on TV, but this one was different. It was directly for teens.
The program's sportscaster was Cody, son of the legendary football quarterback Frank Gifford.
Cody tells us about a brand new sports star.
Mwanza, you're going to meet a 13-year-old girl who puts the we into the game of golf.
Rounding out the first season's reporting team were Natalie, John, Lily, Sam, Jenna, and Felipe.
If you missed the war on public television, you might want to check it out.
I remember the first couple of times that I was there, and I remember thinking really immediately that the other kids were really, really smart. I felt really honored to be with such smart kids, and I felt like I wanted to be doing a really good job.
I think that we all encouraged each other to be our best, and because we were all smart, we were all talented, I hope we kind of pushed each other to just be the greatest versions of ourselves and to learn more and to be better.
This ice cream sundae costs $1,000. I'll tell you why.
Being a reporter was, it was challenging, but it was rewarding. You got to cover amazing stories and meet amazing people. And it was an honor to get to, have this experience of being a teen and delivering news for fellow teens.
Hi, I'm Nicole, and this is host of
Not yet a teen, Nicole wasn't old enough to be a regular reporter, so she became the program's first cub reporter.
Cats and kittens from around the world came to the giant CFA cat.
So the cat story was my first story. I was at the ripe age of 10. But I do think that was an advantage for me because at the age of 10, you don't really have the awareness yet to be nervous. So I was kind of just thrown into it and do this, interview the cat.
I guess the cat's got its tongue.
The idea for Teen Kids News came from Albert Primo. He's famous for creating the most popular news format in America, eyewitness news.
Well, back in the 60s, it was one anchor man reading the news to one big, large audience. And that anchor man was a man, and it was a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant man. And what Eyewitness News did was to bring reporters onto the set and create a family of news people.
And he tapped one of the top producers at Eyewitness News, Alan Weiss, to create the program. As the executive producers, Albert and Alan set the show's look, feel, and most important of all, its guiding vision. Best described as news you can use.
I think it was a particularly important for teens in that we were delivering news that was applicable to your everyday life. So there were segments about bullying, there were segments about eating right, exercise,
how to avoid internet predators, how to start a business,
what teens are doing to help save the planet,
study tips, advice on getting into college,
as well as advice on careers you don't need a college degree for.
We even did a series on easy to make recipes.
So you were learning how to live, and when you turned off the show, you could take those lessons with you in your everyday life.
Teen Kids News wasn't just reporting the news, it was making news. We'll have more on that when Teen Kids News continues.
Welcome back to this special 20th anniversary edition of Teen Kids News. Ava continues her report.
Why do you think the news is important?
News is important for letting people know what's happening in the world.
It helps spread awareness to different issues.
It's really important to know what's going on and how to make the world a better place.
There are many good reasons why we need to have the information provided by news. Thomas Jefferson called information the currency of a free government. He explained that a properly functioning democracy depends on an informed electorate. And while a lot has changed since Jefferson was president, for example, the invention of TV, radio, and of course, the internet, the need to be informed hasn't changed. And that's where Teen Kids News comes in.
I think what's really special about Teen Kids News is the variety of content that is covered, delivered through the perspective of a young person.
It gives kids a voice. The show talks to young people around the world, and while it often looks at some really serious issues, it breaks them down in a way that kids can understand it.
The social media that my generation is ingesting is really, I would say, quite harmful.
And it's important that they still get news from a trusted, reliable source and not just social media.
It's a great way for kids to begin to start understanding the world that they live in so that they can become better citizens of this country and also of the world.
And that's why a news program geared to teens was so newsworthy. Shortly after we began airing, there was an avalanche of coverage, from local newspapers like the Daily News to national magazines like People. NBC's popular Today Show came to the studio.
These budding journalists relay the news to their peers, but the stories are still written, edited, and produced by adults. These kids are reporting news from all over the globe.
I've worked with adults in TV journalism that weren't as good as most of these kids.
Even the humorous Daily Show was seriously interested.
So I worked with the kids for an intense 72-second montage, sharing everything I know about this little thing we like to call the news business. How to emote.
Did a friend of yours die today?
No.
Then you should smile. Let's see the smile. Let's see.
How to project.
Just shouldering like, kids news. I'm punching you with news. I'm punching you with news. I'm driving news in your skull.
Well, maybe seriously is a bit of an exaggeration, but it was a lot of fun and an honor for the news team.
I mean, I remember when The Daily Show came by and Rob Corddry just spent hours making fun of us. That was like the coolest thing that could possibly happen.
Teen Kids News began appearing on TV stations in more than 90% of the nation. In addition, educational channels made the program available to students in some 10,000 schools.
I teach high school in Washington State, and I love watching Teen Kids News with my students. I only wish we could watch it every day. Teen Kids News has fantastic stories that are inspirational and really help us to learn about current events.
One of the things we're particularly proud of is our longtime association with the American Forces Network. Each week, Teen Kids News is satellited to the U.S. military families stationed around the world.
Teen Kids News, having aired on the American Forces Network for roughly 20 years, is an excellent resource for teens, kids, and families on a lot of great things. It brings them a touch of home.
It's called The Growler, and it holds a special place in American history. I'll take you on board for a tour.
The few, the proud, and the silent. Meet a very special unit of the U.S. Marines.
A favorite saying here is, much of the history we teach was made by the people we taught. At West Point, I'm Tyler for Teen Kids News.
The men and women who serve in our country's armed forces are true heroes.
Girl Scouts sell boxes of cookies that people donate to the members of the American Armed Forces.
Suddenly you get a box of cookies from the Girl Scouts with a little, hey, we're thinking about you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Harris, for speaking with us and for your service.
If we don't say it often enough,
On behalf of everyone here at Teen Kids News, we want to express our appreciation
to all of our military.
It's the job of some people to watch for dangerous weather and to give us warning like they did with Hurricane Isabel.
over the course of his 10 years on the anchor desk, Mwanza went from young teen to young adult. And many in the TV audience literally grew up along with him.
If that sounds like an interesting career, this next report is for you.
Mwanza, you were so cute. And we have a surprise for you.
It was his last day as an anchor, which was, of course, very, very sad and heartfelt. And we were all gonna miss him. And he was finishing up his segments, and we surprised him on camera to get his genuine reaction with his Emmy with his name on it.
As you know, Teen Kids News recently won an Emmy, and we would like you to have the statuette. We couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you.
And we were really glad we were recording because his reaction was really special.
While Teen Kids News has received 9 Emmy nominations over the past 20 years, the night we were honored with our first Emmy Award is unforgettable.
The Emmy goes to Teen Kids News, U.S. Naval Academy, WNYW Fox 5.
Winning an Emmy was incredible, something that I'm quite proud of.
I can imagine. Mwanza left big shoes to fill. I know, I'm sitting in his chair. Ava continues her special report on the 20th anniversary of Teen Kids News right after this. Welcome back. At the end of the story of Peter Pan, Wendy is no longer able to fly to Neverland. Peter explains that she's gotten too old. That sort of happens with us here at Teen Kids News.
That's right, Luke. You might say the anchors and reporters on our show have expiration dates. Over the years, as our newscasters aged out, they were replaced by fresh faces.
Hi, I'm Mwanza.
And I'm Haley. And I'm Jessica.
And I'm Sienna.
I'm Livia.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Veronique.
I'm Luke.
I'm Kristen.
I'm Lila.
With the big lights, the makeup, the teleprompter, it felt very official, being on a real show.
The hardest part about being an anchor is reading the teleprompter. It doesn't seem like it would be that hard, but there is a lot of pressure. Everybody is looking at you.
So we usually would get scripts several days before our shoots, and I would practice them reading the scripts in the mirror, and I would read them to people at home. I'm sure they were all annoyed with me.
Before you become an anchor, you first have to prove yourself as a reporter.
Many of the reporters were teens who had seen the program and wanted to be a part of it.
So I actually grew up watching Teen Kids News, and I was like, oh, I kind of want to do that one day. And so it was what initially got me into being interested in studying broadcast journalism.
What does it take to be a reporter on Teen Kids News? For me, Teen Kids News is all about storytelling.
When you pet someone else's dog, does your own dog get jealous?
The ability to communicate with people and keep them engaged through a camera, and also to have good articulation, that's important.
It takes a lot of adaptability. Sometimes it would be a quick setup and then, okay, here's the shot, let's do it. And then we'd get it, and that was about it. We only had one chance at it.
Good job, very nice.
So it took a lot of, being ready all the time, and adaptability and kind of thinking on your feet.
For Teen Kids News, I'm Scott. And I think I'm gonna need a new shirt.
I think one of the biggest things that I learned from Teen Kids News was presentation. When you're doing reporting and you're in front of a camera, you learn a lot of different things about how your voice intonation sounds or what your facial expressions are doing.
But whether windmills will be put here in Nantucket Sound is a question.
Some went on to pursue a career in journalism.
I really owe a lot of credit to the show for helping me get to the next level in my career as an adult reporter. It's a path I stayed on for about a decade. Teen Kids News really gave me the training and experience that, frankly, I couldn't have gotten anywhere else. The opportunities I had were just really amazing. You know, I was a teenager and literally telling stories around the country.
As the saying goes, you have to walk the walk.
So I am a reporter at Bloomberg News, and absolutely my experience at Teen Kids News helped me get to where I am today. And everything I learned from Alan, the director at Teen Kids News, in terms of delivering lines, making them sound natural.
But this is actually a money-making machine.
I am a journalist, and I specialize in writing about luxury goods, specifically watches and high jewelry.
But many others took a different career path.
You don't have to be a Girl Scout to pitch in. So I actually just finished my first year of medical school, hence the white coat and all of that paraphernalia.
I am currently working as a production assistant for a theatre production company here in London.
I think being on Teen Kids News was one of the first times that I had to deal with stress and excitement and that feeling of nervousness before you have to go out and actually accomplish a task. And so that's something that helped me as an athlete when I was a college athlete and then into my career now in the military.
When we return, we'll show you some of the most memorable stories covered over the past years. Teen Kids News will be right back.
Since Teen Kids News first went on air 19 years ago, we've covered a lot of issues, traveled thousands of miles, and met countless people. Ava continues her report looking back.
Understanding the Electoral College, caring about the environment, profiling ordinary kids who have done extraordinary things, raising money for good causes, writing books, even starting their own businesses. We were always cooking up stories that would help our viewers in life.
When it comes to studying, extra help can be very effective. It's as though you could clone yourself.
Being on Teen Kids News was extremely fun. That's really the best word that I can use.
You wouldn't dress like this to fight a fire. Now this is more like it.
This was the world's first reusable spacecraft. That's why it's called a shuttle.
From on top of President Washington's head at Mount Rushmore, I'm Nicole for Teen Kids News. I can disappear. Abracadabra.
From the Great White Way, I'm Livia for Teen Kids News. Oh. It's me.
Doing reports from around the world.
They say you can see the Eiffel Tower from just about anywhere in Paris. But I don't see it!
And lots of A-list celebs.
Hey everyone, it's Gabrielle Douglas here, two-time Olympic gold medalist.
Hello, we are BTS. You're watching Teen Kids News.
At the time, I was already a fan of BTS for a very long time.
Hi!
And so getting to meet them, interview them, was really a dream come true.
Another exciting story was speaking with many of the cast of Harry Potter.
I hear you have a crush on Brad Pitt. Just a little bit, and in that picture, I have to say he is looking good.
There was a lot of pressure to do well, and I think I did it. There's obviously video of it, but I have very little memory of it because I was so starstruck.
Teen Kids News was even invited to be on the red carpet for the big movie premiere.
It's much bigger. It's a lot more scary as well.
People, the energy.
Imagine a book that had 395 pages in it. God.
Sounds like my math textbook.
I was already on cloud nine from just being at the premiere, but yeah, to get to talk to Alan Rickman and make a joke, that was just, there's nothing that compares.
So true. In upcoming programs, we'll continue our celebration of this big 20th anniversary. Back to you, Luke.
Thanks, Ava. There's one more group of contributors without whom our show just wouldn't be possible. We'll tell you about that when Teen Kids News continues. Welcome back. We here at Teen Kids News would like to take a moment to recognize the sponsors who have supported us over the years.
This report is brought to you by
From movie companies like Paramount to tech companies, auto shows, and even the tourist board of the Bahamas. Loyal viewers of Teen Kids News know that every week we present valuable advice from the National Road Safety Foundation, like this public service announcement.
What can you do in 3 seconds? Text your mom. Laugh with friends. Hug family. Buckle your seatbelt. If you don't take the time to buckle up, your family, your friends, even your life could be gone in less than 3 seconds. Buckle up, you may not get a second chance.
And that's pretty much what Teen Kids News is all about, giving information that'll help you be safer, healthier, and happier. For all of us here at Teen Kids News, thank you for watching, and see you next week.
I wanted to be on Teen Kids News because it just looked like so much fun.
And there's something really special about the by kids, for kids dynamic of Teen Kids News.
It was the first time that I felt like the news was being created for me to listen to.
The crew, they were always there making us laugh.
Whenever you made a mistake, everyone just laughed it off.
To be an anchor in high school and be on television was pretty awesome.
I loved being on Teen Kids News just because I got to meet so many different people who are doing really unique things.
There's amazing opportunities that you get to experience that you wouldn't any other way.
It was the opportunity of a lifetime.
I miss it. I wish I could do it all over again because it was one of the most fun times I've had.